I just personally never bothered to try it. Such a small model, 4B model, I thought, what's the point? So it's been almost 7 days since we shipped the Vinci Piccolo 1.0, which is our first 4 billion parameter model within Vinci series. And I think it's important to basically do a reflection 7 days after it's launched about my thoughts about it and just some basic takeaways. When we did 4B parameter model, I really had ideas to get people to own the models, make it easy and affordable to download and own it on people's laptops. And to do that, there's no other way, easier way to do it than giving everyone a 4 billion parameter model. And the 4 billion parameter model is readily accessible. We have just made it onto Hugging Face, and it's now available on Hugging Face as well as so many different other platforms. And so far, it's not been a hit per se, but I do see hundreds of people, hundreds of you guys have 4, can download it on Hugging Face. It's only been 7 days, so I'm not complaining. I think it's a good thing everyone's downloading and trying to make it available on their laptops, which is great. My first reaction after actually using the 4B model was that I didn't expect how capable it could be, because every time I personally used to use Claude a lot, and I don't think there was ever a time where I intentionally toggled on Haiku, which is Claude's smallest model. Same thing goes for ChatGPT. And for GPT, there's a thing called GPT-mini, right? So back then it was 4.0 mini, now it's 5 mini, I believe. And those mini models, I just personally never bothered to try it, because I thought like, okay, what's the point? It's such a small model, it doesn't really make any sense. It honestly puzzled me, because here's our product roadmap. We had a 4B model that's planned, that's just released. And this week we're releasing 9B and 27B, which is gonna be obviously a step up from it, right? But we didn't have those two models when we first launched last week. So I personally had to sit with the 4B without adjusting upwards to other models. So I was kind of like, okay, I'm stuck with the 4B model. So it kind of sucks, because I was expecting some really horrible experience with the models. But as I go on and as I started building on the agent harness, I really realized, okay, it's not really about model sizes. A 4B model with the right prompting, with the right configurations, for example, with web searches, a 4B model actually does a really good job with summarizing web researches and also deep research. Giving another example is like, I personally use Perplexity a lot. Like I said, I pay $200 a month for their max plan, and I do deep research on Perplexity a lot as well. And as far as I understand it, for the regular search, you can use Claude Opus, you can use Kimi, which is also a very big model, and you can use GOM 5.2, which is another big model. And the idea was like, those models, GOM is 750 billion parameters. Opus is rumored to be 1.6 trillion or more. And Kimi is also more than 1 trillion parameter of model. And then you can think of something like, okay, a Piccolo, like Vinci Piccolo is 4 billion parameters. I wouldn't in my wildest dream think it's even as close to as it. I mean, it's not close, obviously, but with the right prompting, with the right agentic search capabilities, it actually felt like as if it at least has hundreds of billions of parameters, because it just sounds like it knows more things than it was able to say. And that was shocking, and I'll give you guys an example here, like in the video. But it's like, it's crazy. It's unimaginably smart, unimaginably efficient, and low cost. And then as we're locking into the API pricing, like Vinci Piccolo will be extremely, extremely affordable. And by the time you see this video now, we might already have the pricing for it. But the idea was obviously to make it like extreme. Oh, well, the idea is that Piccolo will always be free in the consumer app and the business app that we release out there. Like, people will always be able to use Piccolo free with the usage limit, which will be very generous. And the idea was like, we'll only charge for the higher tiers for like more complex tasks, like different things like coding, using CLI tools, plugging an API into your existing workflows and making it better. Those are the things that we charge a little bit more for. And then the 4B itself is just not really something that we charge a lot for. I'm genuinely surprised. It's just, the 4B model out there, like look it up on Hugging Face, is Qwen, right? Qwen is one of the only companies I know that did the 4B, and Qwen is the base model that we based Vinci Piccolo on. We fine-tuned it based on the Qwen 3.5 4B, which I'm grateful the Qwen team releases 4B model for people to own their AI. And we fine-tuned fine-tuned it, we based on it, and then we made our model available from it. It was such a good learning experiences. Because as a consumer, I have to be honest, as someone who uses these AI tools all the time, I'm positioned to think that bigger parameters is always better. Bigger parameters, Opus, this like DeepSeek V4 Pro and all those GLM. But what we don't know is that these models are mixture of experts, which means that they only have a small amount of active parameters. For example, Qwen has a 122 billion parameter model, but only about 10 billion is the active parameter, which basically means that you have the machine running and storing 122 billion parameters of model. When you use it in any capacity, only 10 billion of it, which is like 1/12 of it, will be activated at any single time. So in reality, it's a 10 billion parameter model with bigger memory. But then if you put in that perspective, 4B and 10B, it's not really that small. So I personally have learned that as well, and it changes the way of how I look at it. Even if with GLM 5.2, which is like the best model out there as of this recording, it is more than 750 billion parameters, but the active parameter is also just 40 billion, if I remember it correctly. So 40 billion and 4 billion is just 10 times the difference. 10 times of difference in terms of capabilities, 100 times, not 1,000 times, not 10,000 times. So I think that also helps explain why the 4B model is not as horrible as I would have thought. Posted a lot of videos about my complaints about model, like about Frontier Labs, about the pricing, about monopoly, and I think all those are still valid. But I think for most of us out there, for most of you guys watching this video, I really do think there will be a time where it will make sense to self-host or at least use smaller parameter models, right, from Open Router or from whatever LLM providers that you guys can find, that is truly cheap in terms of inferencing. I think there's always going to be a frontier chasing crowd, and I think I'm part of that frontier chasing crowd as well. Maybe even now, it's like, okay, now I will not consider anything other than frontier. That's kind of what I would think. But today, I have changed my perspective because I was definitely the guy who was chasing Opus, who was chasing Fable, who was chasing GPT 5.5, and now 5.6. I'm definitely that guy. Now I'm changing my mind, and while building Vinci, and I'm just trying to think, okay, like I'm going to test out our new models this afternoon, and I'll just be thinking, okay, maybe that will change my mind as well. We have a 9B coming up, we have a 27B coming up, and maybe that was all enough for most of our workflows forever. To be honest, the space will still move along, everything's gonna move along, but if everything gets shut down today, I think 4B, a 9B, a 27B will be enough for me to survive, to thrive, to automate my workflows, and just be a really genuinely good founder and developer. I think that will be enough, but I cannot say that right now because I haven't tested it. So I will be making another video when I test out that model, and I think it's a genuinely good model that we're shipping. So my team is gonna bring it up to me in just a few hours, and I'll be testing it out. But in the meantime, guys, it's been an exciting time building this space. I have to say, it's not easy. It's very tiring. Sometimes it's crucifying, but you know, I really like it. It's been a fun journey, and we just got started. I mean, we just launched our model 7 days ago, first model. So it's a marathon, right? There's still a lot of things going on that it's going to be exciting. I hope you root for us to succeed as the open weight model provider, and also trying to lower the cost of APIs for everyone on earth who want to access frontier level quality models. So yeah, if you like our journey, check us out at vinci.getsimpleright.com, which is our demo. The link also down below. And then if you have any questions, let me know here in the comments. If you have any feedback, you can send me a feedback and my team a feedback directly in the Vinci app, which I promise you I'll read it within a couple minutes of you sending it, and I'll probably get back to you as well. So appreciate you guys' support. It's a good journey to be building. I hope all of you will try it out. I hope if you love open weight models, try it out, maybe even download it for yourself and see if you like it. But man, I'm so surprised about the 4B model. I don't know, I don't think YouTube has any many videos to talk about 4B, but I love the 4B. I love it. I love Piccolo, and I'll be using it more and more as the founder of it. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon in the next video. Let me know if there's any other topics you want to hear about, but this is a really good opportunity. So I'll see you then.